Much hungrier than my bottle of food was.
There we are. Testing, testing. Anyone that's on, can you hear me? All right, thank you. All right, so I'm just going to be quality checking this machine in front of me here. I'll probably wait a little bit here to walk around it and explain what's in this thing. It's a MegaKit XL. Wait for a few more people just to get on. But this is a MegaKit XL 3-piece. There you can kind of see the control panel a little bit. I believe it's the guy's logo or artwork, but kind of unique, different. So we're gonna get right into it here, run through a few things, and then we can get in and test some games. Let me know if you all have any questions or anything maybe that we can walk you through. What's up, Rob? How we doing? So again, like I was saying, I'll wait just a little bit here for a few more people to get on, and I'll walk through around the machine here, kind of show you the artwork. Again, it's a MegaKit XL 3-piece, running our upgraded computer package, i7 4060, 32 gigs of RAM, push-pull spinner on this guy. He's got the gun for IR guns, GunCon 2s with the recoil rumble. Yep, looking nice and clean. I see you switched to the chrome trim because originally I think it was yellow because I had the panel yellow, and then you made the switch to chrome. Looks good though. Turned out real nice.
Oh, guy on the stream?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we thought about it, and we definitely chose something else.
Awesome. So yeah, like I was saying, I'm just gonna get in, start doing quality checking, just final checking on this machine, so we could get this thing shipped out to you. So I'm just gonna be running through a few things as far as setup goes, and then we can get into testing a few games. So again, for any newcomers or anybody else, if you have any questions about anything, just let us know. Graphics driver. I think I'm gonna go grab the chipset for this motherboard though. I'll go grab the chipset and the Wi-Fi for this motherboard too. I see that they didn't do that, but that's all right. I'll go get it now. So I think, what are we rocking for a motherboard? We're rocking a B760i Aorus Pro DDR4, I think that's how you say that. B760
All the extra food.
I
Extra love.
Oris Pro DD4. Yeah, walk around the machine here in a minute. Just give me a second. How can I calibrate the guns in Tomb Raider arcade game? Are you talking about Tomb Raider? In our expansion wheel? Are you talking about, is that the game you're talking about? We do have on how to calibrate your guns. We do have a tutorial on how to do that on our YouTube channel. So if you go to our YouTube channel and you go to playlists and then you go to tutorials, you'll be able to find all the tutorials for everything as far as like emulators, guns, controllers, and things like that. So if you're looking to calibrate, that's where I would go. But Tomb Raider, I don't know what kind of guns you're using. Do you have Gun for IR? Did you update our to our drives? Because if you have Gun for IR for Tomb Raider, you got to go in and change the code to work for that, I believe, which is easy to do, and I can show you how to do that. Otherwise, what's up, Loose Cannon? Otherwise, like I was saying, go to our YouTube channel, go to playlists, go to tutorials, and then find the aim track gun set up there or Gun for IR if you're looking to calibrate. Okay, yeah, that's what I was asking because I was just asking if you had Gun for IR guns. So I want the INF driver, and I'm gonna grab. Huh? Oh, with this. Yeah, that's what. Yes, I have Gun for IR. Okay, so I will show you in a second how to get in for everyone that's got Gun for IR for the. It's going to be, there's 2 games actually in the expansion. I believe it's the House of the Dead Scarlet and then Tomb Raider, which I'll show you how to get into there if you have Gun for IR and change the codes for that. So just give me a minute. Let me grab these drivers and then we'll get into it here. Okay, so yeah, it's nothing to do with your calibration. It's just you got to put the code in for it. So I'll try to get up on the screen here as close as possible, so you guys can see everything I'm doing here. I'll back up just a little bit, probably, because it's a little bit of a process. But like I said, I'll walk you through it here. Yep. So yeah, just like I said, we'll fix those right now. So for everyone that has Gun for IR, and if you do get like updated drives and those games aren't working, first thing, let's see, can you guys see the taskbar? Barely. I was trying to get the whole screen in, so kind of looks like you guys got everything. Maybe just come there. There. Okay. So first thing what you're going to do is you're just going to open this folder on the bottom here in your taskbar. Hopefully you guys can see this, your File Explorer thing. Click on that manila folder. Next thing what we're going to do is we're going to go into our expansion drive, W. So we're going to do a click on that off to the left here. We're going to come to expansion PC games. This is for House of the Dead Scarlet. So expansion PC games. And then we're just going to scroll down and find that game. That's going to say House of the Dead, Scarlet Dawn, TechnoParrot. So that's the game we're looking for, the first game. So I'm going to double click in here. We're going to hit self-launch. We're going to hit double click app. House of the Dead 0 or whatever that is up on the top. Double click that one again. Just double click the Windows non-editor. Click that top one again. Double click. That's AM, whatever that says, Demon. Double click that. And then now you'll finally get to here. I know it's a lot of double clicking into folders, but eventually you'll get into what should look like this. And then you'll come into this jconfig scd.exe. Stray custom requests. Oh, you want me to I'll try out Stray? So once you get to here, you'll hit settings. And then for Gun for IR, this one's already done, but what you're looking for is right here. So what you're looking for is this code here. 2341 and PID underscore 8042 is your player one gun. So when you find 8042, you're gonna right click and you're gonna hit mouse one. Like I said, this is already done, but once you do it, you'll hit mouse one, and then that'll click into mouse one. That's gun one. Then you're gonna look for the next code, which is this one, 2341 again, with a PID of 8043, and that's gun number 2. So once you find gun number 2, you're gonna right click again on this, and then you're gonna hit mouse 2. And then once you have mouse 1 and 2, like they're here, mouse 1, mouse 2, you're going to hit OK. It's going to say save. You're going to hit OK again, and then you can hit cancel. And then here you're going to hit OK to save it, and then hit OK again, and then cancel. And then that game should be set up. So next we're going to go back and we're going to do Tomb Raider. So if I just click all the way back on my W drive, go to expansion emulators, TechnoParrot, games, Tomb Raider. And then once you click in Tomb Raider, you're looking for this Demille shooter up on the top. You'll double click that, and then it'll bring you into this folder, and then you're looking for the Demille shooter GUI.exe, and we're just going to double click that. That'll run this application. And then what you're going to look for, you're going to obviously select, because you can select different things. You're going to select the player one configuration, which should be the first thing that pops up. And then you could select this drop-down window. And then the same thing is you're going to look for that same number, but only in here, there's 2 different versions of it. So again, player 1 is PID of 8042. So once we find that, we'll click on it. And then what we're looking for, like I said, there's 2 different versions. The one version we're looking for is the one with the 8 buttons. Just to show you what the other version looks like, which we don't want. So again, if you click on this one, you don't want this one. This has got multiple buttons on it. This one doesn't work. So what we're looking for is we're looking for the one that has just the 8 buttons. And if you wanted to, you can grab your gun and you could test. And obviously that moves around. If you hit your buttons, it'll show what buttons you're pushing on there. So. And once we find this one, again, with the 8 buttons, 8042 PID for player 1, you're going to hit save configuration, okay. And then you're going to come over here, you're going to select player 2. And then the same thing, but this one, remember player 2 is 8043 a PID. So again, you're going to bring down that drop window and look for that 8043 and select that. Again, look for the 8 buttons here. And once you have that again, save the configuration. And that's all you should have to do, and then you should be ready to go. Save that, and then you can back all the way out and refire up Big Box, and you should be able to play those games. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully you guys can kind of see what I was doing there with everything. So I just had to double check it anyways because this has got gun for IR. So, and then another thing too with gun for IR, remember you have a demule shooter on your desktop too as well for everybody that's got gun for IR. So make sure this one is set up too. So the same thing that we just did, same thing you're going to do here. So drop down player 1, you're looking for that 8042 with the 8 buttons, save that configuration. Player 2, again, player 2 is 8043 with the 8 buttons again. Save that configuration for player 1 and 2. Another thing you'll have to do if you guys get updated drives, because none of the gun for IR stuff I think is typically done, is TechnoParrot. So there's a bunch of games in here that can get set up for gun games. So you actually have to go into these games. So on the taskbar was TechnoParrot. I clicked on that. That popped up this window. I think there's like 10 to 12 games in here. I'm just going to run through, double check some of them. I mean, I can run through the list that you guys will have to go in and change. But you'll click on Aliens. You can hit Controller Setup. And then from here, you can see your light gun. So this will probably typically say aim track. You'll come in here, obviously, and pick your gun for IR player 1, which this is what it looks like. Gun for IR Pro Micro 1. And then you can program your buttons in from there. So your trigger and all your other buttons. So same thing, you would click on this and then click on the trigger on your gun. And then that programs now my trigger in. And then, I mean, you guys could program these whatever you want, left or right. So same thing, you click and hit your buttons on your gun to what you want. So here's one of the games. So again, when you're done with all your settings in here, save. And then Dream Raiders is another one in here. So Dream Raiders, again, controller setup. And you can get in here and do all that. I'm just double checking all the settings, making sure it's all good. So Firecar Paradise Lost is another one. Then we'll scroll down to Let's Go Island. Sinden's different. I don't know with Sinden as far as those Tomb Raider and all that goes. I think like Tomb Raider and all those need to run a different special program to even be able to use your gun for or your Sinden guns. I remember looking that up a while back. You got to run like a whole different program and bring in a border because you need a border around it for your Sinden guns for Tomb Raider and what was the other one? House of the Scarlet, maybe. I don't. That one might work. You might be able to bring the border in on that one, but I think Tomb Raider. Yeah, I'm just reading your guys' questions, just trying to catch up with it, what everybody was saying here. Yeah, I mean, with Sinden, obviously, for tech, you're going to have to go into TechnoParrot to set up your guns as far as like your trigger and all that for TechnoParrot. But I was just saying for Tomb Raider, I believe you're not going to be able to play that game. I mean, I think you would be able to, but I think the border cuts off the screen. That's what I was saying. I think there's like a special program I was watching a video on that you can bring in and border it and make it look all pretty. But we really don't deal with Sinden guns that much. I don't really like them personally. They're too much messing around and too much setting up. I don't know. That's just my personal preference on them. So Let's Go Island 3D, Lost of the Land. That's another game for TechnoParrot. Let's Go Island, Lost to the Land. I think one's a 3D version and one's just a regular version. So those two. Let's Go Jungle Special is another one. Let's Go Jungle Lost Island Spice. Luigi's Mansion Arcade is another one in here that you're going to want to set up. And then we'll scroll down to Operation Ghost. There's another one again. And with some of these too, actually have more inputs. And he's got Gunfire GunCon 2s. So I can actually input these. That's the nice thing with these GunCon 2s that I'm showing you guys here. Let me see. They have more inputs as far as like directional. And then they have like a start and select. So I know for a lot of your classic games, even in TechnoParrot, I don't think they set it up that way, but in your arcade classic games and things like that, this will actually work to enter the games, start and coin. So I think start is to enter the game, select is like your coin on the gun for your classic games. That's how he has them set up. And if you wanted to, if you had this style gun too, you could go in and do your coin or your start for all this, for that, which is kind of cool. So with some of the, I know some of the TechnoParrot games in here have a few more inputs, like this Operation Ghost. So typically if I have a gun that's like one of these, I'll go in and map those in. So again, if you do make any changes in here, just make sure to save your settings before you leave. Yeah, they're just a hassle. I mean, I've dealt with 3 of them here as far as setting them up, and the light, like the light can interfere with a lot of it, and I don't know. There's just so much to do with setting them up and getting them to perform right. I feel like that's just why I don't like them. I feel like way more setup and hassle than what there really needs to be. Rambo is another game in here. So Rambo, Sega Golden Gun. Silent Hill Arcade. So these are all gun games in the TechnoParrot folder that you guys could play too. Star Trek Voyager. This one is actually not set up. So you guys can kind of see how they're originally on Ultimark. So again, I'm just going to go find my Gunfire 1. And then now I'll click on what I want these mapped to. So start and reload. And then shoot. And start reload, and then we'll do our trigger. Oh, trigger. There we go. All right. So we got all that set up. Save settings. And then we'll keep going down. I think the House of the Dead 4 is in here. Make sure that's all set up. Too spicy. And then this one is actually another one that I'll set up because it's got a left and a right. And this has got that directional pad on it, which is kind of cool. Left, right. We got our trigger, and then we'll do our reload. There we go. Then I'll save settings. Yeah, that would be a David question. Here's Transformers Human Alliance. I mean, we have Transformers Human Alliance. I don't know if this is the one you're talking about, but this is one of them that's already available in the TechnoParrot folder. Shadow Rising. So those are all the games that are inside of TechnoParrot here that you're going to want to look for if you have Gun for IR, and make sure you make all those changes. Otherwise, those games won't work. So then we're done with that. And then, yeah, the Demule shooter on the desktop again, like I talked about. And then now we'll get into some of the other games as far as Gun for IR goes, or Sinden, for that matter of fact. So again, Manila folder. We click on emulators. And then I'm just going to go right to the Gun for IR. Where is it? MAME IR guns. I'm going to double click that folder. And then you're going to double click your controller folder. And then your Gun for IR stuff is in here, your codes. So these two bottom ones, I usually just take the two bottom ones. So these two bottom codes is what you're going to want to copy if you have Gun for IR. If you have Sinden, it's going to be in this gun mouse configuration. So you're gonna probably have to go look to see what PID number you have on your Sinden, because I know Sindens have a couple different PIDs. So then you're gonna have to come in here and grab whatever ones you have as far as your PIDs, and you can change the gun code. So if your PID is a different number, like up here, you could just change the gun code to 1 or 2, and then just grab whatever 2 you need out of here for that. Copy it, like I was saying, and then you'll just come into EHA. And then I just pasted over the bottom 4 lines or whatever that was in there, over the aim track stuff. Basically, you'll just paste this over the aim track gun stuff. And then this is pretty much what it should look like. And I know they have a push-pull spinner, so that's probably got a different PID, so I'm actually going to go check that. But this is what the coding should look like in your MAME IR guns for Gun for IR, what I have up here. So you want to do that in your MAME IR guns. And then I usually just then, once I get that all set up, I'll copy that. I'll just show you here. Usually when I get one set up in here like this, I'll just copy these 4 lines, basically. So I'll just right click, copy. Don't forget to save when you leave, obviously, save your changes. Then I'll copy, and then I'll come to MAME, and then do the same thing, controller file, EHA config, and then paste in there. You just paste over what's originally there, so it shows the same line that it does here for Gun for IR. That'll make sure that your guns come up as 1 and 2 in MAME. And then if you wanted to too, usually what I've been doing too to play like the games in Sinden, even though you'll have a border around them, is you can come into Sinden too. And you could go into the controller file and then do the same thing here like we did. So if you wanted, you could go into those Sinden stuff and play, even though it's got a border. And then one last thing, which typically you won't go into Sinden anyways. You'll just strictly stay in your MAME IR guns. And then you'll come down to Supermodel. And then you're going to want to, there's 3 games in here that you're going to want to change. First thing is you're going to want to get your change settings, gun for IR or aim track. So if we go right into this folder, David's already got the numbers here. So gun for IR. So basically you're just going to grab this and you're going to copy gun for IR. And then we're going to come into LA, this LA Machine Guns Rage. You can see what I'm clicked on there. We're going to right click and we're going to edit the script. And then you'll just paste it. This will probably say the aim track stuff in here. You'll just paste that new code in there. So I'll right click, paste, and then make sure to save again. Save. And then once you back out, you'll compile the script. So that'll change the script and everything that you just changed to run that game so your guns will work. So you have that one, and then you'll come down to Ocean Hunter over here, same thing. Oh, you guys can see. Ocean Hunter. So again, right click, edit script. You'll paste that in here again, which it's already done, like I said. Paste, file save. Come over this, right click, compile your script. And then the Lost World Jurassic Park. Right click, edit script, and then put, again, paste that in there, save. And then same thing, compile script. And those should be pretty much everything that you would need to do for your gun for IRs for everyone out there. I know it's probably kind of a lot to take in and do, but obviously you guys can rewatch this video, pause it, zoom in, things like that. But that's all the gun for IR stuff. Is it possible to use? I mean, for some of your newer modern games, well, I mean, we just use an Xbox transmitter, and then we go into what we do is we use an Xbox transmitter. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, Jay Petty, but we just use an Xbox transmitter and then go into the emulators. I mean, I don't know as far as what you're talking about for PCB boards, and use an Xbox controller for console games. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure what you're talking about as far as what you're trying to do. I know we have a program called X Input, which turns your control panel into Xbox controllers for some of those newer games, as far as like your fighters and things like that. But a lot of the newer games, you need dual analog, and that's just hard to emulate on a control panel. So that's why for a lot of your newer games, again, we have the Xbox controllers there. And we just typically use a dongle and then go into the emulators and program the controls in that way. So I'm just going to keep on going here. I'm going to finish up what I was doing. I had grabbed those drivers, so I'm just going to unzip them quick. I'm just going to delete these. Come on. Oh, whatever, I'll do it this way. Like that. So I'm just doing the drivers again quick, the INF driver, and I just grabbed the Wi-Fi. While it's doing that, I'll kind of walk around the machine, you guys, kind of show you around. So here's the control panel. Non-lighted, push-pull spinner, which that reminds me, I have to go get that PID number for that. Push-pull spinner. Standard layout. Here's his kick plate artwork. Again, Gunfire Guncon 2s. Come around, show you this side. I think it's just mirrored on both sides, I believe. I guess we'll find out. And it is a 3-piece. So, well, you guys can see that, but you can probably barely see the line where it gets cut. Yeah, I mean, you can barely see it. Where is it? It would be right in here somewhere. Barely see that line. And then same thing on this side. Yeah, I think it's just mirrored. Mirrored on this side with chrome trim. With our upgraded computer package again. I think I said that in the beginning. Xbox controllers, Wii package. Or just Dolphin bar. I think he just got the Dolphin bar and he's going to use his own Wii. Yep. So just a Dolphin bar, and then it looks like he's getting a racing wheel. So that one's done. I'll grab the Wi-Fi one here. Weird. Yeah, I mean, we use iPacks. I like using the iPack. That's what I like. I'm sure it's probably messing with what it's reading first as far as like the Xbox controller versus your board there is what I'm assuming. I'll go back. Properties. And we are running a $500 off sale right now. So for anyone that's looking to buy one, it's kind of a nice little discount to purchase one. Some of these had extra space though. All right, I'm gonna go get that PID number for the push-pull spinner quick. So, oops, start, settings, devices and printers. And then we come to, this is our push-pull spinner properties, hardware, properties again, details, and then hardware IDs. And a PID of 1521. So that's what I want to put in here. 1521. Oh, 1521. So I'm going to come into my MAME again, my controller file, my EHA config, and I'm going to change my mouse code 2 here to 15. 21. Typically, that's where we put the spinner, is on mouse code 2. So I'm, again, just putting that PID number in there so that will always come up as number 2 in MAME. Don't think we'll have to worry about it, obviously, in Golden Tee. I think Golden Tee is just uses your trackball. We can go put it in MAME IR guns, but don't think you'll need it there either. But we'll just put it in here. There. Okay. So that's done there. That's done. That's checked. TechnoParrot's checked. We checked all the gun for IR stuff. Let's just check the display. Yes. I usually do that. Pick the graphics card. And I think the only other thing is I'll do the empty. We can empty our recycling bin. Okay, so all that's done now. Now we can start checking everything else. So device manager, we'll make sure Bluetooth is disabled. And then disable NVIDIA high def, which is already done. That's just so the sound comes out of your TV. We'll check our Windows activation, which looks good. Our guns, we'll test those. And then I'm going to test the control panel, make sure all my buttons, joysticks are working. Just kind of double check everything before it goes out. There we go. All that looks good. Things looks like it's working good. I'm just trying to remember anything else. I think that's it, yeah, as far as that goes. Okay. Just thought that. I think that might be it. Might have to tighten that top. That's what I was looking at. Tighten the top of this. I think it might just be a little loose. The process I'm showing you right now, I don't have a sheet that I reference off of. This is just how I do it. I go in and just double check everything as far as like programming codes for gun for IR and everything. And just make sure, obviously, all that stuff was right. Obviously, you could see there was a couple things that they didn't have done, which I went in and fixed, which is kind of why we do this process, just to make sure all the coding and everything's right for all your games. So when you guys hopefully get your machine, it should be all set up for you and ready to go, and you guys shouldn't really have to do too much of anything else.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I think there's a few games like the Wackery. I know it uses the Tron stick and the spinner here, but obviously, I mean, you could use your 4-way in this as well too to play those kind of games. Just like David said, Discs of Tron. There's probably a few other games, but I don't know off the top of my head that use that. Yeah, usually when I hire new people, I've been doing training and things like that. We haven't had anybody new for a while, which is good. But everybody kind of knows the process. Again, I just double check everything, make sure it's all good to go before it goes out. Make sure, no wrenches hopefully get left in the machines and things like that. So that's all I'm really doing. Yeah, so just kind of like David's saying, I mean, we do have like a checklist as far as like finishing goes, and then obviously there is another checklist like of obviously what's in the machine as far as like computer and all that. So that's again what I'm double checking. I mean, there is checklists as far as like what's in the machine, but as far as like the process that I'm doing right now, as far as coding and all that, I don't have a checklist for that. That's just kind of something I do. But this is kind of the checklist, I mean, that we have obviously for phases, just to kind of show you. I mean, just kind of shows you review your paperwork, apply artwork, and all that kind of just list down and kind of make sure that everything gets done there. And then again, like I was saying, like we'll have like a final checklist as far as, what's in the machine as far as drives and TVs and computers and things like that, controllers. All right, so I think that's everything there. We did all that, so I'm just going to do a quick restart and we'll get into testing some games here. I think the one thing I forgot to check is I'll check the TV too, make sure it's in game mode because you'll get a lower latency as far as with your controllers and things like that. They do have it all set up, so. Yeah, so I'm just gonna set this up. It was set up on just the TV, but not the actual system. There we go. Okay, never mind. That was all set up. There we go. Well, first thing I do is I'll go to Arcade Classics. I'll test a few games there. If you guys have Tron Stick Spinner, things like that, I'll go in and program like discs of Tron, a few games that'll use that stuff, but I won't go in and go through all 3,000 games just because that will take a little while. So I'll go into Arcade Classics, and then from here I'm just gonna hit Player One Coin. That brings this menu up on my right, and then this is how I go into just the MAME general settings, which you guys shouldn't really have to go in here and mess with anything too much. But this is just your general settings for all the games inside of MAME. So I'm just checking to make sure that the spinner is in here, which we usually put the spinner under dial, which they didn't have the PID number in there. So you guys can kind of see how it came up as mouse 4. But now if I do it, it should come up as mouse 2 like we had in there for our PID. And then since this is a push-pull, we can do the increase. Usually I'll pull up, decrease, I'll push down. I mean, you could do it the other way too. That's just the way I do it. That's all I have to change in here. I know everything else is set up good in here. Shouldn't have to do anything in any of the other players. We'll just save that configuration. And then I'm going to come out of here, and I'm back to MAME again, and then we'll go, there's the Arkanoid. I mean, we could go to discs of Tron too. Which maybe we'll do that. We'll go to discs of Tron. And then now I'll bring in my in-game settings. So your shift, if you have a shift function, if you don't, you'll hold down your player one start and then your first joystick to the right. And that brings in your in-game settings. And then from here, I mean, you can go to general settings there, which like I really don't need to. And then input this machine is what you're looking for. And this is just for the game. So when you go to input this machine, it's just for that game. So in here, so we can do aim up, aim down, and then we want our dial. So now I better coin up. And I believe I could use my four-way. A Tron stick obviously would be easier to play this game just because of the trigger and stuff to shoot your and the shield, but because it's going to be kind of hard because you have to navigate this and then shoot. So that's why usually Tron stick and works a little bit better for the game, but I mean obviously you can still play it this way. It's probably a little more challenging. There.
Good looking live stream.
Yeah.
Blow some dust off his car.
And then I'll go into Arachnoid probably too. Just to double check again the spinner. Actually, I'll just go over to A. And I'll come down. Arachnoid. We'll just double check it in here too. It should work and be fine, but I'll just check the spinner again, left or right. Donkey Kong, I mean, we can go into the sound and check. I mean, you can turn your volume up, down at the bottom too, and then another thing is check your taskbar. So shift player 2 joystick up will pop your taskbar up. Another thing I would do is check your volume down on your PC settings. So I can't see my mouse right now. So to how I just tabbed over, if you guys seen that here, let's see if I can show you. So if you're looking to see how I tabbed over to those other screens like I just showed you, I'll try to show you how I do it with the buttons here. There. So to tab over, if you have the shift function, hold your shift and then your button number 2 on player 1. So shift player 2 button, and then you'll just tap to the right, and then you'll hold the player 2 button down, and then like how this popped up now. And if you hold that player 2 button down, you can cycle through the different screens. So I'll just go back over to bring the game back up, just to kind of show how you can tab over on your control panel. And then I'll just coin up, test this quick. We'll go jump into Donkey Kong here, and then we'll keep on testing some more games. I don't know if there's anything that anybody's looking to see played. I know customer requests. I know Adam or David said Stray, which I know that's a newer game. Well, this looks like it's working good. So we'll go to Donkey Kong. don't think there's much you can do as far as, like I said, with the sound settings in here. Again, like I was saying, if you bring up your taskbar and check your volume down here on the bottom right, and I mean, you can turn, can't see it, bottom right there, your speakers, you can turn that volume up or down to your liking. So that might help. Donkey Kong. The original. That's pretty loud. That's just the, and you got to figure too, this game's really old. That's just the way that this game sounds, to be honest with you. And you're not going to get that great a sound out of this game. Oh, of course. Right when I go up there. But shift up. If you do shift up, you can pause your main games. Again, shift to the right, in-game settings. And again, I don't think there's anything you can do as far as sound goes. To be honest with you, I mean, this is just master volume. You might be able to have your master volume. I don't know if that lowers it. So yeah, I think it's already all the way up. I don't really think there's much more that you could do as far as your sound. Yeah, there's your answer, like David's saying. And shift up again, and then now I'm back to playing. Of course, again. So speaker volume. So let's go to, where was it? Slider controls, speaker. So you can, he said you can turn this up. Let's turn it up to 174 once, 1.74, just to see. I'm curious. I mean, that did make the speaker volume, yeah, it's louder. So, I mean, you can do it that way. So, what other game I like to test in the classics is I like to go to Street Fighter inside of here. I like to test. Just so I can test, I mean, I'll test the newer Street Fighter 2 just to make sure X input is working. But I like to go in here too and test this one. Make sure joystick feels good and everything, buttons. Gyrus? Is that a game? In classics or? I'll check in a second here. Who's scanning? We can just do probably a global search on it. Oh, jeez. There we go. Come on. Oh, yeah. All right. Keep doing that jump and he keeps getting me. Oh, of course, I got beat. Huh? All right. I got to revive myself from that. I got to. Usually I never get beat in the first round. Oh, can I get a perfect? Oh, no. Almost had a perfect. Oh, geez. There we go. All right. And if you ever need to restart your game, player one, if you'll player one start down, hit joystick, your player one joystick to the left, that'll restart the game in your classics. So I'm gonna check. I'll check to see if we have. Yes. So we do have it. So I'll go and look at this game. We'll do some gameplay on this, and then we'll probably end the stream from here, guys. GY. Actually, I should just go to H and come up. GY. Right there it is. So this will be the last game. Like I said, I'll do some gameplay on. And then we'll end the stream from here, guys. Thanks, everyone, for joining the stream this week. Like and subscribe. Hope you all have a good Christmas. It's kind of like you go left and right, but you only go about half screen left to right. It's kind of like almost like a Tempest or yeah, Tempest, right? Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah. Kind of in a way. I can't go forward or back, only left to right. Oh, I'm assuming I have to shoot him to move on. Hold on. Really? Okay. No, I'm not using the spinner. I mean, I could probably program it in to use the spinner, which would probably make the most amount of sense. Let's see here. Up, down, left, right. So, I mean, it is just a joystick. I mean, you could do left or right, I think, with your spinner. But no, it's just, I'm just using my joystick. But here, I'm curious. So I did left and right on the spinner. And then now if I flip my toggle switch to the left, unpause, there we go. So yeah, now I just programmed it into the spinner. Which actually plays a lot better that way, I feel. Let's try it. Oh, I made the leaderboard. I'll play one more game of this and then we'll end it from there. Well, I didn't get to type in my initials right. That's all right. Oh, and you can't hold the button. I'm sure there's probably cheats that you could put on this. I'm curious too. Is there cheats? Here's a cheat menu. Infinite lives, invincibility, select power, rapid fire. So those are some cheats you guys could put on if you wanted. David says this isn't a spinner game. Oh, now I got dual. Oh, now I can move all the way around. Before I couldn't move all the way around. I must have did something where you can move all the way around. Oh, there you go. Now I can move all the way around. I didn't realize. Yeah, now I can move all the way around. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Anyways, I'll just probably put it back to this. There we are. Look up this original machine. Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I can look it up here. I mean, it looks like it's a joystick, but it kind of looks like it could have like just a spinner to it on the original. Unless it's like a rotary type of a joystick that they're using. Huh. Interesting.
Are you guys not here tomorrow? No. Shoot. Oh, yeah. You guys have a good Christmas weekend? I'd rather take 2 shorter weeks than 1 extra short. Yeah. All right. See you guys.
Later. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to call it from there. Hopefully everybody has a good Christmas. Thanks for joining. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next week.